Hello, YouTubers, friends, compatriots, bootlickers, shills, ditchley, search pests, bastards, minions, meat sacks. I'm Useful Idiot. Welcome. And the story is U.S. intel warns Israel will strike Iran nuclear facilities this year. And I'm certainly one of those people that believes that. In my predictions for 2025, I predict there will be a war with Iran. And I don't really know whether it's going to be an Israeli-U.S. effort or Israel will act on their own. And there's two threads running through this now. Of course, Trump has been very vocal about not being very patient with Iran if some agreement hasn't been met, and so he could be willing to participate in this action. But it seems like he's pushing more towards what he calls a verified nuclear peace agreement. And I find that fascinating too, because of course he was the one in his first term who canceled the agreement that we had with Iran at the time that gave us verifiable proof of what was going on with Iran's nuclear facilities. And that was one of the problems with canceling that. At least we had people on the ground who could monitor developments in Iran. And that was a cutoff during Trump's first administration. So the fact that he wants to renegotiate a new arrangement along those same lines is a little perplexing. And then there's the fact that as I've also stated in videos, there's been two threads of talk about Iran and their nuclear weapons capabilities. And we have a lot of Iranian officials who are pushing the hardline Iran government to reconsider their fatwa against nuclear weapons. And I happen to believe that they haven't actively been working on a nuclear weapons program. And I did a video probably 6 months ago talking about the fact that Iran could be a week away from developing very rudimentary nuclear bombs should they be put in that position. And I think that was a rhetoric for the most part to send a message to Israel that things could escalate if Israel keeps pushing their buttons. But overall, I think there's a lot of groundwork laid in Iran where they could put together bombs quickly if they had to. But for the most part, I don't think they've had a nuclear weapons program that they've been developing all these years, despite warnings for the last 40 years from the U.S. and Netanyahu that Iran was a week away from getting nuclear weapons. And so the justification by Israel, of course, is that Iran is in the weakest position it's been in for a while with the fall of Syria and the crushing of Hamas, and then the Israeli war against Hezbollah as well. So Iran is fairly isolated. Trump's going to up the ante with sanctions again, cut off their money supplies, and Iran is definitely at a weaker point than they've been before. But Netanyahu's talking about, quote, finishing the job, unquote. And I have every reason to believe that that is what they will do. Israel does not usually balk at these kind of belligerent statements, and they have the willingness to do so. But it is problematic because Israel alone does not have the capability to fully destroy Iranian nuclear facilities, just refueling capabilities and just firepower capabilities. Although I would say that Trump has approved the delivery of some 1,800 2,000-pound bunker buster bombs to Israel, and it could be equipping them for a strike on Iran and not necessarily to be used on Gaza. There isn't much left in Gaza to bomb anymore, so 1,800 2,000-pound bombs would come in really handy for a strike on Iran. So we'll see. Of course, Trump and Netanyahu have a very cozy relationship right now. Trump is apparently giving Israel everything it wants as far as taking over Gaza and expelling the Palestinians. And also, Trump seems to have no issues with renaming the capital of Israel in Jerusalem, and all the moves by Israel to move forward with the annexation of the West Bank. And I'm sure Trump is not going to have any problems with that. He seems to be a very vocal and enthusiastic supporter of Zionist Israel. But that said, this will be interesting. If Israel does go for these strikes alone, will America just be drawn into it because it's already in play? That's one question. But as I mentioned, I think a war one way or another with Iran is coming up this year. So we'll see what happens. I'm useful idiot. Don't you be one too.